Preseason Game 2 was an absolute dumpster fire. The Atlanta Falcons, led by rookie quarterback Jack Strand, defeated the Colts 34-6. Definitely not a fun watch for any of the home fans. The Falcons outgained the Colts 461 yards to just 164, and Atlanta possessed the ball for 38 minutes and 41 seconds to Indy's 21 minutes and 19 seconds. An interesting blowout, as the Colts did get the better of the Falcons during the joint practices. A couple of notes: Justin Wally was making great plays, including a pick six during the joint practices, and the Colts dominated the end-of-game scenarios at the end of practices, both the starting unit and the second units winning those 2-minute periods. Now let's get into that mess of a preseason game. Both quarterbacks competing for the backup position were poor, but neither of them really received any help. Richardson especially had no chance. The backup O-line was horrific. Very little time for him to deliver passes. The stats are honestly too shameful to even mention. There were several penalties in all three phases, and the Colts were entirely dysfunctional on offense, finishing 1 of 11 on third down. Richardson really couldn't get anything going in the pass game, and was forced to use his legs at times just to slightly move the ball down the field, and Riley Leonard continually missed low, throwing the football into the dirt, missing his receivers. Another common theme: the depth corners were quite concerning, especially Mekhi Blackmon, drawing penalties and getting lost in coverage. Maybe a little bit of clarity in the linebacker competition. Akeem Davis-Gaither was inactive for this preseason game, as he was for the first preseason game. This may be telling that he is already slotted in as one of the so-called starting linebackers in this rotation. On Saturday, it was Jalen Carlisle and Austin Ajike who were out there at the beginning, and still lots of rotation at linebacker. I saw a handful of great plays from Ajike, effort plays where he made tackles while being blocked, and another great TFL from Bryce Betcher. Worth mentioning, Bryce Betcher was playing late into the game, late third quarter, early fourth quarter. You can kind of use these preseason games to measure where the team has a player slotted in the depth chart at this moment in time. So Betcher being in that late may be a sign that the Colts are trying to get this young player as many reps as possible, but also that he is not slotted near the top of the depth chart at the moment. Blake Grupe uncharacteristically missed a layup of a field goal from under 40, so that throws an interesting wrinkle into this competition at kicker. There were a few good returns from rookie Deion Burks, but of course the first one was called back for a holding penalty. Seth McGowan again was not very impressive with his efficiency, so while he's looked very good in camp, Colts fans are hoping that this inefficiency in the preseason is not telling of what is to come in the regular season when teams are tackling to the ground. Another common theme: pass rush seemed very soft, basically non-existent for most of the game. Jack Strand and other Atlanta quarterbacks had all the time that they wanted in the pocket. Ultimately, the Colts were dominated on both sides of the ball in preseason game 2, and fans did not go home happy. So that's it for the preseason game notes. Linebacker remains a bit of a mystery. The starting linebackers recently have been Jalen Carlisle and Akeem Davis-Gaither, but Lou Anarumo continues to say that he expects a lot of guys to play at linebacker this season, adding this week that this may change as the season goes on and different guys settle into their roles. Can't help but think that this is largely referring to CJ Allen, who was unavailable due to injury for a lot of camp. The rookie linebacker was expected to make a large contribution, and it sounds like Lou Anarumo expects as the season goes on that he will step into a larger role than just being a rotational piece. Quarterback 2 still looks a mess. As much as you can say that Leonard and Richardson did not have any help from the O-line, as well as several offensive penalties that were not on them and drops from wide receivers, neither one of them has really shown a consistent ability to lead the offense and move the ball down the field. With Daniel Jones coming off the Achilles injury, quarterback 2 is a very important position on the roster. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Colts take a look at acquiring a new quarterback to back up Daniel Jones before the season starts. Whether that's trying to pick up a quarterback who was cut from somebody else's roster, who they believe has the potential to be more consistent than either Leonard or Richardson, or trading for someone who may be a quarterback 3 on somebody else's depth chart. Gardner Minshew comes to mind, Colts legend. CJ Allen was out there for the preseason game, although he was not out there in the second half. I'm hoping, along with Anarumo, that as he gets healthier, we see a CJ Allen takeover, and he becomes a mainstay in this linebacker room. We are seeing flashes from rookies Bryce Betcher and Deion Burks. Burks briefly caught fire at the end of the first half, really the only efficiency that the offense had, as Leonard connected with Burks several times, and Burks also flashed on a couple of nice kick returns. Betcher was a little bit quieter in this performance than he was in the Week 1 preseason game, but when he gets into the backfield, boy does he lay the boom. And as mentioned before, the O-line depth is not promising. Not sure what kind of roster move the Colts would look to make to address this, but if any of the starting 5 go down, it looks like the Colts are going to be crossing their fingers that the next man up will be able to keep Daniel Jones upright. Pass rush is still unknown at best. I'm expecting great things from Laiatu Latu, but it remains to be seen whether or not Arden Key will be a quality pass rusher opposite him. We also have veteran Michael Clemens, although he appears to be a known product, and rookies George Gumbs Jr. and Caden Curry, if they make the 53-man roster, still have a ways to go. The Colts must clean up the penalties that were being committed during these preseason games in all 3 phases, whether it's the return game, O-line penalties, or defensive pass interference. The kicking battle continues. Spencer Schrader was 2 for 2, and Blake Grupe missed that layup during the preseason game. Special teams coordinator Brian Mason said Schrader has really closed the gap in these last 2 weeks. In addition to me wondering about a possible roster move at quarterback for the Colts, I wonder if acquiring a new corner might be on the agenda as well. The performances from Mekhi, Blackmon, and Jonathan Edwards have not been great. In fact, against 3rd and 4th string players, I'd call it borderline embarrassing. I have liked what I've seen in stints from Jalen Jones, but the Colts have not expressed great confidence in him, and he has been injury-prone through his career as well. Shane Steichen said he is hopeful that Alec Pierce will return to practice this week and that they will ramp him up, likely with individual period activities, before putting him back into team activities. Yes, this is just hope, but it seems that Pierce is likely to be activated off of the PUP list within these next few days. Mooney Ward returned to practice today in limited capacity. This is fantastic to see because they certainly need a guy like Mooney Ward, especially with the depth corners beneath him, looking unprepared to take on the challenge. Lou Anarumo, when asked about rookie linebacker CJ Allen, said, "The more healthy he gets, the more reps he gets, he's only going to get better. The more he gets himself ready and healthy, the more he'll play, and he'll be just fine." Now, it's a bit disappointing that Allen isn't getting a larger share of the reps to start his rookie season, but it seems that these injuries have set him back a bit, and the Colts linebacker room will be finding its voice, quote-unquote, at least through the first few weeks of the season, determining which linebackers best suit each package. Shane Steichen also said that practice this week will mimic a game week, moved up by 1 day as the Colts will play on Saturday. So padded practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday will be a non-padded or walkthrough practice. Saturday at 1 o'clock, the Colts will host the Detroit Lions for the 3rd and final preseason game. Shane Steichen says that starters will play a series or 2, 8 to 12 plays, with the exception of Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, and several players who are still dealing with injuries. So there will be no Alec Pierce. I definitely don't expect Tyler Warren or Mooney Ward. Also a question about guys like maybe Josh Downs, Anthony Gould, or DJ Giddens. Steichen also mentioned that backup tight end Will Mallory is dealing with a thumb injury that may keep him out for several weeks, so it seems like it's a pretty severe thumb injury. He said it's possible that that thumb injury keeps Mallory out through the Week 1 opener. Hoping for a speedy recovery there. You know I love Will Mallory. Suppose as a tight end with great hands, he definitely needs that thumb. Steichen says that Anthony Richardson will play the first quarter and Riley Leonard will play the second. Easton Stick will play the entire second half. He also said that Richardson coming out in the first quarter before Riley Leonard is not indicative of any advantage in the quarterback competition, but I do think that Anthony has the slight lead in the QB2 competition as it stands currently, although I don't feel great about either of them. This week, the Colts also unveiled their Anvil Strike rivalry uniforms. I'm quite the fan. I love the gray jerseys and the black face masks. Steichen says the Colts will wear these rivalry uniforms Week 3 versus Houston, so we'll get to see them pretty soon. The regular season is fast approaching, and the Colts will be releasing their initial 53-man roster either Sunday or Monday, shortly after this final preseason game. Thanks for tuning in to Indy Sports Yap. I'm Ben Holland. Peace out.